The Sydney Swans aren't just building a team, they are building a dynasty, and they just went shopping in their own backyard. You think the Swans are just resting on their laurels after a big season? You think the list management stops at the draft? Mate, you are dead wrong. The real work, the dirty work, the stuff that wins premierships in 2030, that is happening right now, quietly on the north coast of New South Wales. We aren't talking about one or two lucky kids getting a pat on the back. We are talking about an absolute invasion, a takeover. The Sydney Swans have just locked in a record-breaking number of juniors from the AFL North Coast region for their 2026 academy squads. 52. Let that number sink in for a second. 52 kids. That is not an intake, that is a battalion. Everyone talks about the go-home factor in the AFL, right? Players leaving to go back to Victoria or WA? Well, the Swans have cracked the code. You don't worry about players going home if you breed them in your own territory. You turn the SCG into their home before they even have a driver's licence. This news dropped and it's absolute gold for anyone who bleeds red and white. We're seeing a massive spike in talent identification, and the names on this list, you better memorise them now, because in a few years you might be screaming them from the stands at the SCG. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of who made the cut, because this is the future of our footy club.
This isn't just good news, this is a statement of intent. The AFL North Coast region has always been a bit of a hidden gem, battling against the rugby codes, fighting for every inch of grass, but the tide is turning. Last year, in 2024, we had 45 players picked. That was huge, people were celebrating. But this year, we've smashed it. 52 players selected for the 2026 squads. That is a massive jump. It's a record number. It proves that the pathways are working, and the talent pool in NWS is deeper than anyone in Victoria wants to admit. And look, the QBE Sydney Swans Academy isn't a daycare, it's elite. It was established in 2010 to find kids with that specific AFL instinct in a state dominated by other sports. It's about increasing the number of NWS players with expert AFL knowledge. When you see 52 kids from one region getting the nod, it means the coaching on the North Coast is elite. It means the hunger is there. These kids are travelling, training and sacrificing their weekends to wear that swan on their chest. It's that Bloods culture starting at age 11. It's incredible to see. The academy trains up to 700 players a year across the state. It's a machine. But to have such a dense concentration coming from the North Coast, that tells me the heart of NWS footy is beating louder than ever in the regions.
Now we have to talk about the clubs, because looking at this list, one thing hits you right in the face. The Port Macquarie Magpies are absolutely flying. It's actually ridiculous how many kids from the Magpies have made this squad. It's like they have a factory down there. If you're a Magpies fan or a parent involved with that club, take a bow. You are feeding the Swan system single-handedly in some age groups. But it's not just them. The Northern Beaches Blues, the Coffs Harbour Breakers, the Sawtell Tormina Saints, these local clubs are the unsung heroes here. They are the ones putting the footy in the hands of these kids for the first time. And let's be real, the commitment here is insane. We're talking about families driving hours for training, for trials. That's the grit we love. That's the sort of character that translates to a tough wet weather game at the SCG 10 years from now. We need to break down these names because every single one of them has earned the right to be hyped.
Let's start with the young fellas. These are the kids who are just stepping onto the pathway. The dream starts here. In the under-11s, we've got fresh blood. Zeke Boulay from Port Macquarie, there's that Magpies connection again. Arlo Birkinshaw representing the Nambucca Valley Lions, love seeing the Lions get a run. Aubrey Dixon from the Northern Beaches Blues, and Ace McGregor from the Lower Clarence Suns. That's a rock star name if I've ever heard one. Ace McGregor. Sounds like a forward pocket who kicks 50 goals a year. Moving up to the under-12s, the talent keeps coming. Edward Epps from Lower Clarence Suns, Eli Fernie from Sawtell Tormina Saints, George Lake from the Coffs Harbour Breakers, Xavier Upston from Port Macquarie Magpies. Then we hit the under-13s and the list gets chunky. This is a crucial age. You start seeing the real skills develop. Chase Allen from the Northern Beaches Blues and Bo Lill from Port Macquarie Magpies are in. Albie Lindsay from Sawtell Tormina Saints, great club, great culture. Ashton Miller from the Lower Clarence Suns and Matthew Welsh from the Coffs Harbour Breakers. These kids are the foundation. They're the ones looking up to guys like Errol Goulden and Isaac Heaney, realising that the path from a regional NSW oval to the MCG on Grand Final Day is actually possible. It's right there in front of them.
Now this is where it gets serious. The under-14s, 15s and 16s. This is where the boys separate from the men, or rather where the athletes start to emerge. The competition for spots here is fierce. Look at the under-14s list, it's stacked. Oscar Churton from Lower Clarence. Then look at this Port Macquarie blockade. Noah Bates, Mason Embling, Henry Fryer, Jack Morris and Blair Sibarani. 5 kids from one club in one age group. That is outrageous. The chemistry these boys will have playing together is going to be lethal. We also have Desi R. Masters Nutai, who's listing both Macleay Valley Eagles and Nambucca Valley Lions, a dual threat. Under 15s, the pressure ramps up. Sam Dicker, Xavier Matt and Taj Upston holding it down for Port Macquarie. Sonny Dusting and Jackson Sierakowski from the Northern Beaches Blues and Clancy Tune from Sawtell Tormina Saints. And in the under-16s, the numbers tighten up. Only the best survive here. Finlay Campbell from Nambucca Valley Lions, Zane Guthrie from Coffs Harbour Breakers. These lads are getting closer to the pointy end. They're entering that window where draft scouts start whispering names. To be selected in the academy at U16 level means the Swans see legitimate potential in you. It's a massive badge of honour. This is the danger zone, the business end. If you're in the academy at U17 or U18, you are knocking on the door of professional football. Under 17s, Thomas Eppes from the Northern Beaches Blues, Duke Marshall Orr from Coffs Harbour Breakers and Northern Beaches Blues, Edward Redfern from Port Macquarie Magpies, and standing alone in the under 18s from this region, Isaac Luke from Port Macquarie Magpies. I want to highlight Isaac Luke here. Being the sole selection from the region in the U18s brings a different kind of pressure. All eyes are on him. He's the spearhead for the North Coast in this intake. If he has a monster year, if he develops right, we could be seeing his name called out on draft night in the future. That's the dream. That's why this academy exists.
But hold on, because if you think this is just about the boys, you haven't been paying attention. The growth in the women's game is explosive, and the Swans are investing heavily here. The girls' list is arguably even more impressive in terms of club diversity. This isn't just about filling numbers, this is about finding the next Chloe Malloy, the next Ali Morfitt. Under 12s, Jane Masters Nutar from Macleay and Nambucca, and Violet Travail from Port Macquarie. Under 13s, we've got Vala Parsons from Northern Beaches, Emily Carson from Port Macquarie, and Ella Cronin representing the Southwest Rocks Dockers. How good's that? Southwest Rocks getting a shout out. Under 14s, the list expands. Lexi Findley from Northern Beaches, Myrelli Marshall from Southwest Rocks, Willow Matthews from Sawtell and Tormina, and Eliot Munn Power from North Coffs Kangaroos. Under 15s, this is a powerhouse group. Reese Legend and Josephine Tate from Nambucca Valley Lions, Harper Skinner and Hayley Woods from Sawtell and Tormina Saints, Zoe Tarlington from Coffs Harbour Breakers. Under 16s, Chloe Murphy from Sawtell and Tormina, and then the Port Macquarie machine kicks in again. Gia Hudson, Ruby Luke, Grace Morris, 3 Magpies in the U16s. Under 17s, Annalise Crawley from Coffs Harbour Breakers. And in the under 19s, the final step before the big leagues, we have Amaya Wayne from Bellingham Bulldogs, Sawtell and Tormina Saints. Amaya Wayne is the one to watch here. U19s is elite territory. She's right there. The pathway from the North Coast to the AFLW is wide open, and these girls are charging through it.
So, what does all this mean? Why should you, a Swans fan sitting in Sydney or Melbourne, care about a bunch of kids in Coffs Harbour and Port Macquarie? Because this is our lifeblood. The Sydney Swans Academy has already given us absolute superstars. It's the envy of the competition. When Victorian clubs complain about our academy, it's because they are scared. They know we are tapping into a resource they can't touch. Seeing 52 kids from the North Coast locked in for 2026 tells me one thing: the Swans are not going anywhere. We are embedding ourselves into the community. We are turning NCW into an AFL state, one kid at a time. These 52 players represent the hard work of parents, local coaches, and the regional development teams. It's a massive logistical effort, but the payoff? The payoff is a team that is homegrown, loyal, and skilled. To every kid named on this list, congratulations, but the work starts now. You've got the target on your back, you've got the opportunity of a lifetime. Don't waste it. And to the Port Macquarie Magpies, whatever you are feeding those kids for breakfast, keep doing it, because you are single-handedly stocking the cupboard for the future. This is how you build a legacy, not just with checkbooks, but with boots on the ground in places like Nambucca and Sawtell. The future is bright, the future is red and white, and apparently the future lives on the North Coast. How good is footy?